This is the second video for the Health Sciences Bootcamp multiplication. So in the first video, we talked about basic multiplication facts, the times tables up to 10 times 10. You should watch that video first before you try this video. In this video, we're going to be doing multiplication of two numbers where both of the numbers are more than just a single digit. So now to multiply two whole numbers, we're going to write the numbers so each place value lines up vertically. Then we're going to multiply the digits in each place value. So we're going to start in the rightmost place value in the ones digit of the bottom number, and we're going to multiply in the ones space of the top number, the 10 space of the top number, 100 space of the top number, and so on. And any time that the product is larger than 9, meaning it's got two digits, we'll carry the tens digit up to the left. We're going to do this for each place value for the bottom number with each place value in the top number, and then we're going to add, those are called partial products, so then we'll go ahead and we'll add those partial products together. Every time you move a place number to the left with the bottom number, you're going to have to drop a 0 underneath. Okay, so it sounds very complicated, but let's try some examples. So in this first example, what we want to do is we want to take 62 times 87. Now, so we've lined up the numbers to the right, and because they both have two digits, it doesn't matter which number you put on top and which number you put on bottom. So now we're going to do the multiplication. We're going to multiply just like normal. 7 times 2 makes 14. So the 4 comes down and the 1 goes up. Now we'll do 7 times 6. So 7 times 6 is 42. But we had this 1 that we brought up top, so then we have to add that, which would give us 43. So if we were doing 62 times 7, we would get 434. But we weren't. We were doing 62 times 87. So now we have to multiply 62 by 80. Now here's the thing, since that 8 is in the tens spot, it means 80, we know that multiplying by 10 just tacks on a 0. We discussed that in the first video. So since the 8 is in the tens spot, we're going to drop a 0, and then we're going to do multiplication with just 8. So we'll do 8 times 2, which makes 16. The 6 comes down, the 1 goes up. And then we'll do 8 times 6, which makes 48. But then we had this 1 carried over, so we have to add that to make 49. So we'll put 49 next to it. Now, these two numbers, 434 and 4,960, are called partial products. And what we need to do is now add these partial products. So we're just adding straight down. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 6 is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. So we'll carry a 1. And then 1 plus 4 is 5. So what this means is 62 times 87 is 5,394. Let's try another one. So we're going to do 43 times 78. So 43 times 78. We'll do partial products. So first let's multiply by 8. we need to do 8 times 3, 8 times 3, which makes 24. The 4 comes down, the 2 goes up. Then we'll do 8 times 4, which makes 32. But we had this 2, so we have to carry it with addition to make 34. Now we're going to move one space over to the 7, which represents 70. So since the 7 is in the 10 spot, I have to put a 0. And now I'll do the multiplication. So 7 times 3 makes 21. So the 1 comes down and the 2 goes up. And then 7 times 4 makes 28. But then I have to add this 2, which makes 30. Now I have my partial products I can add. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 0 is 3. And just 3 is 3. So what that means is 43 times 78 makes 3,354. Okay, let's try another one. 64 times 59. So 64 times 59. So 9 times 4 makes 36. 6 comes down, 3 goes up. 9 times 6 makes 54, but then we need to add 3 to make 57. Now we're going to multiply by 5, which is in the 10 spot, which represents 50. So since it's in the 10 spot, we're going to drop a 0, and then we're going to do our multiplication. So 5 times 4 makes 20. 0 comes down, 2 goes up. And then 5 times 6 makes 30, but then I have to add that 2 to make 32. These are our partial products. We'll add down. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 0 is 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. And 3 is 3. So 64 times 59 is 3,776. Okay, let's try again. 47 times 10. 47 times 10. So we'll start all the way on the right. 0 times 7 equals 0. 0 times 4 equals 0. Now we move one digit to the left, which is a 1. So we're going to drop a 0 and then we're going to start again. 1 times 7 makes 7. And 1 times 4 makes 4. These are our partial products, and so we add down. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7, and just 4 is just 4. Now let's think about this problem for a second. When we did our times table, we decided that when you multiply by 10, you just tack a 0 at the end. And that's exactly what happened here. We did the actual math, but it just came out to 47 with a 0 tacked on at the end. So that's a shortcut. 47 times 10 makes 470. Now this is true anytime you have a 0 at the end of your at the end of one of your factors. So in this next example, 63 times 100, this 100 has 2 zeros. So my answer, without doing any actual math, will be 63 with 2 zeros tacked on, so 6,300. And if you worked out that problem the long way, you would also get 6,300. Let's try another one. 354 times 438. So 354 times 438. So these numbers look big and they look intimidating, but the process is going to stay the same. We're going to start all the way to the right on the bottom number and multiply by the top 3 numbers, carrying when we need to carry, which is adding. Then we're going to move 1 space over, drop a 0, and multiply everything by 3. Then we're going to move 1 space over, so drop another 0, so 2 zeros, and multiply everything by 4. It's very systematic. You can follow the same process each time. So we'll start just multiplying by 8. So 8 times 4 equals 32. The 2 comes down, the 3 goes up. 8 times 5 is 40, but then we have to add 3, which makes 43. The 3 comes down, the 4 goes up. Now we'll do 8 times 3, which makes 24, but then we have to add that 4 to make 27. Now there's no other digits to multiply, so the 27 just goes right in front. Okay, let's try again. We're going to move 1 space to the left, which is the 3, and we're going to drop a 0 because the 3 is in the 10 spot. So now we'll do 3 times 4 makes 12. 2 comes down, 1 goes up. 3 times 5 makes 15, but don't forget to carry that 1, so that makes 16. So 6 comes down, 1 goes up. 3 times 3 makes 9, and then add the 1 to make 10. No other multiplying, so the 10 just goes right in front. Okay, let's do it again. So now we're going to multiply everything by 4. That 4 is in the hundreds spot, so it gets 2 zeros. And now let's do that multiplication. So we have 4 times 4 makes 16. So 6 goes on bottom, 1 goes up top. 4 times 5 makes 20, but then I have to add 1, which makes 21. So 1 comes down, 2 goes up, and now we'll do 4 times 3, which makes 12, but then we have to add the 2, which makes 14. These are our 3 partial products. And we're going to add those 3 partial products together. 2 plus 0 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 2 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 6 plus 6 is 19. So I have to carry that 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 0 makes 4. 1 plus 4 makes 5, and just 1 is 1. So if I wanted to multiply 354 by 438, that would give me 154,952. Let's try one more. 896 times 201. So we'll start with 1. So 1 times 6 makes 6. 1 times 9 makes 9. And 1 times 8 makes 8. Since we're timesing by 1, it just comes out to that same number. So we just did 896 times 1. It's not a coincidence that it made 896. Now the second digit is a 0. So I'm going to drop my 0, and then I'm going to do the math. 0 times 6 makes 0. 0 times 9 makes 0. And 0 times 8 makes 0. So that didn't really change anything. And then we'll do one more, multiplying by 2. So now that 2 is in the hundreds place, so it needs 2 zeros because 100 has 2 zeros. And now we'll do that math. 2 times 6 makes 12. So 2 comes down, 1 goes up. 2 times 9 makes 18, but then I have to plus the 1 to make 19. Well, 9 comes down, 1 goes up. And I have 2 times 8, which makes 16, but then I have to carry the 1, so that makes 17. Okay, I did all 3 partial products. So now let's add down. 6 plus 0 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 0 plus 0 is 9. 8 plus 0 plus 2 makes 10. 1 plus 0 plus 9 makes 10. 1 plus 7 makes 8, and then there's just a 1. So 896 times 201 is 180,096. So now the last examples that we'll do for multiplication is word problems. So Henry has 4 sheets of stamps. Each sheet has 25 stamps. How many stamps does Henry have? So if you could picture, we've got 25 stamps. And then I've got 4 of those. So I'm putting like dot, dot, dot in there because I'm not going to draw all 25. There's 4 rows with 25. So the math that I need to do is 4 times 25. So let's do that over here. 25 times 4. 4 times 5 makes 20. So carry the 2. 4 times 2 makes 8. Add the 2 makes 10. So Henry has 100 stamps. Let's try one more example. The hospital ordered 19 boxes of syringes. Each box has 13 syringes. How many syringes are there total? So we've got each box has 13 syringes in it, and there's 19 boxes. So we need to multiply 13 by 19. So I'll do 13 by 19. So 9 times 3 is 27. So the 7 comes downstairs, the 2 goes upstairs as adding. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 makes 11. Then we're going to drop a 0 and we're going to multiply by 1. So 1 times 3 is 3 and 1 times 1 is 1. So now we're going to add down 7, 4, and 2. So there are 247 syringes.